about the new year always, and the buzz of new year always, we say it's the new year fever. I don't like to say it fever because as a doctor, I know the fever goes off in a few days. But it should not be like that. It should be the fervor. Fervor means the enthusiasm, the energy should be there throughout. And brother sorry, I don't know his exact name, but he has been in touch with me, brother Pitabasa. So he had chosen this topic. I told him, whatever topic you want to, let's go ahead with that. So he told me about this, and I really like this topic because, in one way, it can be applied for any new year for that way, for that matter, actually. But in one way, it is also very important because all of you can see the world around is really going through a lot of change, and it is going through a really big change because you can see just a few days ago, and it's still going on as we speak. The forest fires along the west coast of USA, Los Angeles. It is the city Hollywood, and people have a lot of dreams about Hollywood, and now you're seeing it is in shambles and fire. It's just going rust. It's just turning into ashes. It is a city of dreams, but all the dreams have really fizzled out into ashes. That's what you can see. This is just one example I've given you. There are many other things happening. To name a few, wars are happening. I don't want to name the countries because what at Brahma Kumaris we always try to do is we rather try to be a part of the solution rather than being the part of the problem. So I don't want to be more problem oriented here. I want to be more solution oriented. So when I say life in a new perspective, I'll give you some few pointers. As you can see in the flyer, it was mentioned that I'm a facilitator. So I don't want to really sound it like a lecture. I would want to give you around 10 to 12 points to ponder on whether you can change your perspective inside internally, and can you shift from this to this. So the first pointer I think is, it has just struck me right now, is can I move from being a part of the problem to being a part of the solution? Because talking about the problem doesn't really give you a solution. Am I right? Because I can really have a lot of information from the outside world, what is happening, fine. But what has that information done to me? Has it really made me feel very great from inside, or it has really made me feel opposite? Has my state of mind, on the contrary, gone very low and I've started feeling very depressed and very sad that, oh, what is happening to the world? And when we say the word knowledge and wisdom, I'm sure all of you know the difference between these two words. Knowledge is like, for example, majority of you are IT professionals here. So you have gained knowledge in that. I'm not going into AI, which is artificial intelligence. Let us stop here itself, that AI, and go into another AI called Atmic intelligence. We'll go into that more today. So let me come back to the professional word, that every professional gains a lot of knowledge through whatever study we go undergo, through the medical, the engineering for you all, and so many other fields which are there. So knowledge is something which you can gain from maybe some textbooks or from materials or from some sources, from modules. Whereas from the media, the social media gives you just information. And can you say that you become more knowledgeable by being on the social media? No, I don't think so. It's a big question mark on that. We just get some information, and what to do with that information is basically in our hands. Whether we are becoming really positive with that information, then we can really go on and add to our database inside. But I don't think social media does that to us. On the contrary, it makes us feel very low and depressed at many times. So that is knowledge. And what is wisdom? Wisdom is if I apply that point of knowledge, if I can use that point of knowledge and apply it in my life, and then use it as a resource for myself, then I become wise. That is, knowledge is transforming to wisdom. So let's not think more about social media now, because social media is not really a portal for giving you a new perspective in life. I think what can give you a new perspective in life is trying to go into this AI, which I'm going to introduce today to you, because each to his own. Since you're IT professionals, you'll understand the word AI. So I would give you what I said, AI is the Atmic intelligence, whereby can we move on from this consciousness of I being the gender, which means I am Manoj, for example. My name is Manoj. Gender is male gender. Profession is a doctor by profession, so on and so forth. So I have identified myself with particular roles in my life. I am so and so. So can I move from this role consciousness to soul consciousness? So we'll explore that today as well. I'm sure all of you have attended a few talks of various Brahma Kumari events. You all have even been in person at the center wherever you all are from, and you all are introduced to this concept of soul consciousness. I would not want to touch upon in detail on that, but what is this concept is trying to really scratch off all the layers from the superficial aspect of our personality, which we have identified with, that I am so and so. Try to tease out all this and try to go into the depths of my being aspect, because when we say human being, all these what we have identified, the gender, the role I'm playing, my profession, all these is my human aspect, whereas the being aspect is I'm just nothing. And when I say nothing means I'm just that tiny energy, the tiny being which I am, which is driving all these roles. So when I say perspective, and another word which comes very closely in relation to perspective is perception. In Hindi, we say perception as drishtikon, and a beautiful word is drishtikon. Every Hindi word we need to understand has a beautiful meaning to it. Drishti means my vision, and kon. Kon again, if I say Kon, rather in the Hindi we say Kon, I mean in the K-N-O-N, but if you say cone, C-O-N-E, that is, you have an ice cream cone, right? So cone is something where you're focusing. If you draw it as a triangle, IT can understand much more better. It's an engineering word. So my vision, which has become very conical, and we say that, oh, you're having this vision about others, you're having a perspective about others. We need to realize that this perspective is something which I have developed over a period of time, and it is because of my attitude. Let us try to understand the difference between attitude and perception or perspective. So attitude is, people say, oh, isko bada attitude hai. People say that routinely in Hindi, right? But they don't really literally know what is the meaning of attitude. Attitude in Hindi, it basically is called vritti. Excuse me. So, and when I say vritti, I would rather say manovritti. So it's a beautiful word. Mano means the mind, and vritti is the attitude. So, what is the function of the mind? If you can start writing it down in the chat box, so I can literally feel that I am facilitating rather than giving you all a lecture. Okay, so if you all can start typing, if you all wish, that what is the meaning of attitude, vritti? If you all can start typing. And second question, which I asked you all is, what is the role of my mind? All of you agree that we have a mind and which is constantly doing something. So what is the mind doing? If you can write down these two things. Let's see any answers. I'll give you all maybe a few seconds to start writing it down. I hope all these participants have the access to message to everyone. Otherwise, if not, let me just change the settings. I hope you all can chat with everyone, because since we are co-hosts, so we can chat with each other. Just check, Pita Basa, whether
We can send message to the host and co-host by default. So to
no, can we send it to everyone?
okay, all right.
Let me just go into the settings. I don't know why I can't do
I
that.
think
So that you all can start sharing, and it can be more interactive rather than me giving a one-way talk.
right, right.
Okay. Those three dots. Participants can chat with. Okay, and yeah. So now I have clicked it. So I think you all can just start chatting. So anyone, yeah. Let me see what is this new message here. Yes. So Manjeet, thank you. I said Om Shanti. So Manjeet has finally. So you all can now chat with everyone. Okay. So I don't think you'll have started writing. So let me just not waste my time. We'll go further. So, what is attitude? I'll come to that. But first, before that, let's understand why am I going in the details of these two words, the attitude, the perspective, because that's what is today's talk. So, unless I understand what is the difference between perspective and attitude, I won't be able to change it. So, let's go further. So, mind, it's a very simple thing. What is the main function of the mind? It is to create thoughts. Very important is to create thoughts. And day in and day out, at this very moment, it is exactly 4:14. Take a moment, go inside, and see what is going on inside your mind. What are you creating? What thoughts are you creating? Just take a few seconds, sit still, and reflect on what you're thinking at this moment. Your mind is definitely doing something. See what it is doing. It would either be in the past, present, or the future. So it's just creating thoughts. So the main function of the mind is to create thoughts. And second, attitude. Attitude is basically a collection of thoughts together. So if I'm creating good thoughts for someone, my attitude towards that person is of a good nature. If I'm creating negative and vicious thoughts for anyone, then my attitude towards that person is vicious or negative. So that's the meaning. Manovritti. Attitude means it's a collective bundle of thoughts which I'm creating for anyone. And my attitude shapes my perspective or my perception. So if I want to change my perspective in life, and if that's what you all want to do in 2025, you're just 10 days down the new year. I mean, and everyone feels that the new year has gone. But for us at Brahma Kumaris, we say that each and every day, each and every moment is a new year for us, because if I can really be innovative and creative and bring some newness in my thinking, then I can really be practicing a new year in every moment. So if I want to change my perspective, my drishtikon towards life, I have to work on my attitude. And if I need to work on my attitude, I first need to change my thought process, which means I need to work on what am I thinking. So, as I already gave you, the first change which I want is, can I move from the perspective in my life from role consciousness to soul consciousness? So, if that becomes too heavy to understand, let me give you a few other practical tips. So, let's come to again 2025 and the world outside. You can see too many things happening. There are three important powers which I must say. The first important is the political power. Second is the power of religion, religious power. You can see the Mahakumbh happening. Do you see that from 13 Jan? I think, yeah, 13 Jan to some February, 45 days onwards, it will go on. So that's the power of religion. It's a big mela, a big congregation of people, and they are saying around 400 million would be attending, and 400 million is not even the population, collective population of Russia. That's what I heard. And the third is the power of science. So these three powers are really, in a big way, ruling the entire world: the power of religion, power of politics, and the power of science. Now, can I change these powers? Or absolutely no. You can see that these powers can be used in a good way, but they can be used in a negative way as well. And what do you feel in 2025? Are these powers being really used in a good way or more in a negative way? I'm sure you agree. It's more of the negative way, because you can see the political uh, upheavals which are happening all over the world. Not to name any city or any country, but you can see how the political upheaval is happening, because that is the thing which is driving the entire world, right? Second is the religion. Many wars are being waged in the name of religion. Again, I'm not naming any religion or any country. We all are very well aware of that. And the third, the power of science. You will say, oh, how science can be negative. All of us have experienced that very much in the COVID area, how 2020 to 2024 till last year as well, COVID cases were coming up. And now you can see another new virus coming up. Again, let me not go in those details, because as I said, can we be can we shift our perspective from being a part of the problem to being a part of the solution. So all these three powers, the religious, the political, and the science powers, they are going in a very different direction. And what can we do as a simple, can we just be an observer and observe what is happening? Just absorb all the negativity and make ourselves feel so miserable? No. We can change. And that change has to happen at the level of the thought. And that's the reason I was telling you that all of us have to start working on our thoughts. So, as I said, I'm giving you a few points to reflect on. Another third point will be, can I move from being calm in crisis and being calm in chaos? Can I move from that to, so can I move from instability to being stable? Despite hearing a lot of disturbing news from outside, which I will be a part of because I can't escape the social media. I can't escape the revolution of science and the AI, artificial intelligence. I have to be in that. But despite consuming all that information, can I remain stable? And that was one thing which I must say when I started my journey of coming into Brahma Kumaris, this was one important thing which I really liked about this is the first day when I came, I was amazed by the first chapter in the Raj Yoga meditation was, who am I? So they told me, who are you? I mean, when I went there, like you can see Swapna's sister in the white sari and the badge when she introduced me. She's no more seen in the video here. But you all know at the Brahma Kumaris centers, we have these sisters clad in white with some badge, which I also have, you can see. And then that sister asked me over there, who are you? I said, why does she want to know who am I? So I said, I am so and so. I mean, I said, I'm Manoj, I am a doctor, so and so. She said, no, I'm asking, who are you? I said, excuse me, please elaborate your question. I'm not able to get what you're saying. So she said, what you have said, all these are nothing but your roles, but you are a soul. And then I realized, oh my God, wow, what she's saying is really true. Because all of us basically are indigenously Indian, born in India. So the concept of soul, मैं आत्मा हूँ, this concept is very deeply inbuilt in our system. But my dear friends, just tell me one thing, in the entire day, this consciousness of I being the soul, how much do we practice? Forget you all, let us look at we, the regular meditators who are there in the audience, and their name starts with BK, usually. Brahma Kumars, we say BK. In the entire day, how much am I, as a regular meditator, if I'm practicing, say, since last 10 to 15 years, for example, in the entire day, how many minutes am I able to really practice this soul consciousness? So when I came to the Brahma Kumaris, this concept of I being the soul and experiencing the consciousness of soul, it really sort of exploded my world. And I felt so inferior because I felt, oh, as a doctor, I don't know so much about the soul as these Raj Yoga meditation practitioners know. And to go on, they were telling me the depth, the details of the soul, that is the mind, the intellect, the sanskar. We call the soul as three faculties: mind, intellect, sanskars, man, buddhi, sanskar. So I won't go in that because otherwise the topic will go into the details of the soul. But why I'm telling you this is, as I began this journey of practicing soul consciousness, I started feeling that yes, I am this point of light, I am this energy, and energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So the moment I realized the eternity of my existence, that I, the soul, am eternal. And all of you know in the Gita also it's mentioned that koi bhi shastra kaat nahi sakta. कोई भी चीज उसको जला नहीं सकती, आग जला नहीं सकती, उसको पानी भिगो नहीं सकता, so on and so forth. So once I know the concept, but I don't know the experience of soul consciousness. All of us know that the soul is eternal, but am I able to really experience that soul consciousness? Yes, if I can, then it can. Then you don't need to listen to this talk. Might as well you go and do something other things. But for people who are here, let us, as I was telling you, the first thing which I started, that can I move from this role consciousness to soul consciousness? So when I began this journey, when I started this journey, it was really an amazing journey. And the moment you switch your consciousness, you switch your attitude and perspective. As I told you already, that your attitude becomes fully of uh, your thoughts become so pure and powerful and very peaceful that you start becoming very stable amidst the chaos. And then your perspective towards the world as well changes. So, as is my thoughts, so is my attitude. And as is my attitude, so is my perception. And if you want to complete this cycle, we say Jaisi Drishti Vaisi Srishti, which means as is my perspective towards people around me, which is coming from the attitude, so becomes my Srishti, which means the world outside. I'm able to take it in that perspective then. And that becomes my actually what you call bhagya, my fortune or my destiny. So here it comes the process of how my thoughts lead to my destiny. So this was the third aspect which I told you, that can I be stable in any crisis situation? So see, you will be seeing that as we go further in the coming years, the situations will be becoming more challenging. There'll be more obstacles coming up in your life. And being in those obstacles, can you remain stable? Ask yourself. That is one shift which I wanted to say. Can you change your perspective for that? That can I always, always, always remain stable in any challenging situation? So that's one more point to reflect on. Let me move on to the fourth point because I'm aware of the time as well. Soon my half an hour is getting over and I have to give you 8 more other points. One more point is, uh, can I change my perspective from expectations to acceptance? So say I'll give you an example. Uh, People say, oh, I didn't expect this behavior from someone. So yes, we don't expect people's behaviors as they are. But can we move from expectation to acceptance? Ask yourself. So I'll give you an example. I go to the office, for example, my office would be my clinic and seeing my patients. And suddenly the patient who's coming in front of me, I deal with kidney problems in children. So my patients are always accompanied by their parents. So it will be a kid with a parent, and then usually the child is taken care of by the parents, and the child is not able to really take the medicines on his or her own will. It is the parents who are doing that for him or her. So if I see the negative, the reports are not very good, and I tell ask them one question, that excuse me, tell me the medicines what you're taking, and they blabber out everything. They just tell me all the medicines, one, two, three, four, five, and they're telling me everything properly. But I tell them that, are you really taking the medicines, or which means, are you really giving it to your child? They say, yes, we are giving. But then I tell them that the report is not telling me the report is telling me the other way, because the report shows that you are not giving the medicine. And then they say, oh yeah, we missed a few days. And when, as a doctor, a patient tells me I've missed it for a few days, I mean, I can imagine how many those few days are. It could be a month or maybe even few months. And then so this is so I can be really upset with them, and I can tell them, oh, this is so unexpected from your side. And now over a period of 20 years of practice, I've realized that I shouldn't be shocked, because it's human tendency that they also get bored of taking their medicine. But I used to initially get upset, and I used to say, this is unexpected from you. I used to be disturbed just by this thing, because this is what is the word called in medicine, compliance. That I used to tell them that, are you really, do you know what you are doing? Are you trying to do justice with your patient, with your kid? And I tell them very harshly. I used to tell them very harshly that this is your child or this is your kid, but mind well, he's my patient. So you can't be treating my patient like that you're not taking the medicines on time. And then I used to sort of, I feel now, looking back at it from this today's perspective, I used to sort of induce in them a guilt conscious, which is not a good thing to do actually. So then now I have mellowed down. I used to tell them that, see, you're really supposed to take care of your child and you better don't skip the medicine. So why I gave you this entire Ram Kahani, this story is, there are so many unexpected things happening in life. And on the contrary, this is very expected in my practice, because I know not all patients will do the way I ask them to do. So we have many unexpected things happening. The loss of a family person, unexpected loss, someone dies at home, unexpected. Then you are diagnosed with some very bad disease like diabetes, hypertension, stress related, or you're diagnosed suddenly with cancer. So something related to your body, some illness, or there is a sudden loss in the family, financial loss, where sort of you have invested in something and that crashes down, whether it's stock market or whatever. So many unexpected things happen. So can I change my perspective? Can I move into acceptance? You have to ask that. People will say, oh, it's so difficult. How can I accept that I have lost so much money? But then ask yourself that how many more days or minutes or whatever you want to remain in that uh, phase of being sad and guilty. Because is that doing anything good to you? On the contrary, it is making you ill more physically. So, can I change my perspective over there and move from what is called expectation to acceptance? So this is one more. I think this is the fourth perspective which I have given you. Let's move on to another perspective. We all are professionals. We are working uh, as a team. We are in teams, and all of you know there's concept of it comes from the IT. It is called the TL, the team leaders. Correct. So when working in teams, we see that people sometimes are ahead of us and some people are below us in the sense they are behind us. So usually we try to compare our lives with the people who are ahead of us. And somehow or the other, this emotion of jealousy comes into play, right? So, am I jealous of someone's progress? Ask yourself. Ask yourself honestly. So, if can I move in my perspective in 2025 from jealousy to having, because when you're jealous about someone, what sort of thoughts are you creating? Because jealousy itself is a very negative emotion, it's an energy of disturbance. So it keeps me up and down. So, can I move from my perspective from being jealous to uh, a, being a person who can create good wishes and pure feelings? In Hindi, we call that Shubh Bhavna and Shubh Kamna. Can I do that? Ask yourself. The first thing your mind will tell, why should I do? Yes, why should I do? Very true. Ask yourself why. Sit down with yourself for a few minutes. Ask, why should I create good thoughts for that person who is ahead of me in life? And the answer will come to you, it is for your benefit. Because your thoughts of jealousy, the negative thoughts, they are not doing any good to you, are they? You're really, your state of mind is just getting more and more depleted and you're feeling more and more miserable. And then you can take drastic steps to start pulling them down. This is called leg pulling, right? People do that in the world outside, right? You know that. I mean, no one, all of us are witness to those situations. No one is immune to those things. And in that, what am I doing? Am I doing something good? If I'm trying to pull down a person and I'm trying to really question, put a big question mark on their success. And I tell, oh, he would have done something to go up, something negative, or he would have done some, what do you call that? Appeasement. Like people say appeasement politics. Here, people say that something appeasement he would have done, some rishwat khori he would have done to take this seat, and so on and so forth. So, see, where did my thought process go from jealousy to so much into a negative, whereby I'm feeling more and more disturbed? So, can I just put a full stop and can I just start accepting that person's success the way he or she has achieved it? And can I just put a full stop and say that yes, it's okay, he's achieved that success. I can also be inspired from him or her. And can I create good wishes? And can I consciously create good wishes and pure feelings for that person? So, this is, I think, the fifth perspective change which I want you all to think whether you all can practice. And all this is possible. The more and more I start regularly meditating, my mind starts becoming more and more stable and calm. And then all these things which I'm telling you in different ways, all these become very possible. They become my second nature. Then I don't have to keep thinking on each and everything. Let's take another perspective, fifth or sixth, whatever you all do the count. Can I move from greed to being contented, right? Another shift of perspective, that people will say, oh, that if we don't have greed and competition in life, how can we progress? So, another word I'm coming to, competition and comparison. Can I move from competition and comparison to being complete and contented? Can I move into that? So, people again argue that if I am contented with myself, I can't progress further. No, my dear friend, it's not like that. I don't mean to say that when you're contented with what you have, don't aspire for good things or don't aspire for more. What I'm trying to say is the state of my mind. I have to take care of that. So while I am in working in an organization, whether it's a self-employed professional or whether I am being hired a salaried professional, wherever I am, I have my own business. Can I be content with what I have and start from that as a base? Make my state of mind first positive and pure. And from that state of mind, can I work then? And yes, of course, at Brahma Kumaris, we have n number of people who are doing that. And despite being contented, they are able to really progress in life because what they have done is they have worked on their attitude. As I told you before, they have worked on their thought process. And they have worked on that thought process so much that they feel that whatever in life is happening for the best. गीता में भी लिखा है, right? Whatever happens, yeah, first, whatever has happened in the past is good. Whatever is happening is the best. And whatever will happen in future will be much more better, will be for the best. So medically, if I can give you examples here that all of us in the present times, if you look at your mind, now also it's say 4:36 p.m. And at this moment, if I ask you to close your eyes and think what you're thinking, if you can do that, do that. Let's do this for maybe half a minute. Look at your mind. What are you thinking? And come back. I'm not asking you to spend a lot of time because if you spend a lot of time, you may go into a big jargon. So just try to analyze. You're not really comfortable sharing your responses in the chat box. I know that. So let me just open out like that. So, how many of you feel that when I asked you all to do this 10-15 second exercise, how many of you were really in the present moment? I'm not expecting a show of hands, but analyze yourself, do a self analysis. How many of you feel you all were thinking about the past, about what has happened in the past? That past could be anything, the recent past from today morning till now, or it could be a few days ago, a few months ago, a few years ago, whatever. And how many of you were thinking about the future? So it is medically proven that around 80% times we are in the past. Next 15% times, remaining 20% may say 15% we are thinking about the future. That what should I cook for myself? What should I do? So on and so forth. And the remaining 5% may say, someone is mentioning something. Yeah, thank you so much at least for that. I'm not taking names, but the sharing is that you're thinking of the recent past and feeling irritated. Yeah, there you are. So this proves that 80% times the people think about past. So thank you for your sharing. And so I was saying that remaining 5%, it is again medically proven that hardly 1 or 2% we are in the present moment. So, and it is also said that if you can increase from 2% to say 4 or 5%, being in the present, and that is called the concept of mindfulness. Mindfulness means what? Mindfulness, a mind which is fully present in the awareness of the present moment. That is called mindfulness, and meditation is the best way to practice mindfulness. So if I can do that, then I can really stop my racing mind, because my mind will race and my mind will be up and down and disturbed when I'm thinking either about the past or of the future. You check it. And once my mind is in the present moment, my mind usually becomes stable. So I was giving this example of from moving from this perspective of being competitive, of being comparison all the time. Can we move to contentment, from greed to contentment. So, possible? Ask yourself. So, see, today I'm here just to tease your mind a bit, tease in a good way, just to stimulate your mind or trigger your mind to think about these perspectives. That can you change your perspective in mind? Because you're all mature professionals, and I don't want to give you a lecture about what you should be doing in your life. I can just give you a few pointers and you have to decide, because finally it's your life journey. I can just merely be a facilitator, and what is the role of a facilitator is to just give a push to your vehicle if it has stopped in the middle of the road, right? Like, people are there to help you, so I'm just that one of the helper and the guide. But further down the line, you have to really ride your vehicle on your life journey, and then you have to decide what you have to do. So let's move on to one more perspective, that is a sixth perspective, which I feel, can I move in my life from attachment towards love? So, see, I think this is another perspective which I want to introduce today. Many people get confused between these two words, attachment and love. And many people feel, oh, yes, I love my family, I love my kids, I love my parents, so on and so forth, I love my spouse. But actually, ask yourself honestly, is that really genuine love, or it is just attachment? Because people say that attachment is needed, I should be attached. And see, the word itself, when you say attachment, what energy does it give you? It's a very stressful energy, because attachment means something like that, you attach, like जैसे कहते हैं ना हिंदी में, फेविकॉल का जोड़ मजबूत होता है, वो कभी टूटता नहीं है. So when you're attached to someone, so if, for example, this is you and this is the person you're attached to, right? So if this person is becoming up and down, if you're attached, even you become up and down. But if you're detached, in the sense, understand the word detachment in a proper perspective. So when we say that, as people say, oh, at Brahma Kumaris, when we start meditating, we are very afraid. I ask them, why are you afraid? What are you afraid of? And they said, oh, we become detached. So I tell them, try to understand the perspective of detachment. We are not telling you to be detached from your family. We are telling you to be detached from your role consciousness, right? Detach yourself from this big consciousness that I am this body. Detach yourself from their habits. Detach yourself from their sanskars which are disturbing you, because that's what happens, right? If I'm attached to someone, if that person is disturbed, I also become disturbed. So detachment means, as I was telling you, attachment and detachment. So if I'm able to detach myself from that person's sanskars, from that person's habits, from that person's attitudes towards me, then I can really remain stable, and then I can help. So the best example here is of a mother and child. It's a very simple example to understand. Say a child is hurt. He's a 1 year old kid. He's hurt. He's just fallen and he's got a bruise here and he's bleeding from the bruise. And the child is crying because it's paining him so much. And the mother, she says, oh, my child, I'm so attached to the child. And she also has started really being unstable and becoming up and down. So can that unstable mother take care of the child who is unstable? Obviously, no, because she herself has become unstable. And then she's telling on the top of the voice, oh, it's my child. How can I not feel sad for my child? How can I not be emotional? How can I not cry for my child because my child is hurt? But you go and ask the mother, whatever she's doing, is that doing anything good to the child? Not really, because she's just adding pain to the existing pain of the child. So how can I justify myself by saying, oh, I love my child? No, that is not love. That is just attachment. I can see in the chat box that detachment is very difficult, but let me tell you, you don't have to do anything. You just have to make yourself stable, and automatically you start getting detached. And as I said, you have to remain in the same house, but you have to start loving people. And loving means truly you should be able to take care of them without being disturbed. So obviously it's very, very easy. I'll tell you the easy way out. And how is the easy way out here is, my child is hurt. I am the mother. So I have to create this thought inside me that yes, my child is hurt. He is in pain. But I am his mother. I cannot be in pain. I have to be stable for my child. And when I just do this, I'm automatically detached from that painful situation of that child. And then automatically, if I am positive, I can send him positive vibrations. I don't need to say, oh, my child. And do you feel if someone is disturbed, he or she will be able to give positive vibrations to that person? No. So, in order for me to heal that child who is in pain, I need to I need to work on my stability? And someone is saying that we can do it, thinking the whole world as my family. Wonderful answer. So, and here it comes the concept of which I think all of you are aware of it in Sanskrit. It's called Vasudev Kutumbakam, that the entire world is my family in one way. Well, let's anyway not go to the family there so much, the world family. Let's come to a small, limited family at home. And let's start with this is called charity begins at home. We start it at our home level, at our micro level, and then we can go on to the macro level. And that I can only do by becoming more and more self conscious, self aware, and by practicing this mindfulness concept, which I told you. So, this is one more perspective shift, which I wanted to tell you all is moving from many people say that we should have attachment, but it should be a detached attachment. No, my God, don't play around with words. But I would just say that move from detachment, attachment to unconditional love, whereby you give love and love, radiate love um, in your attitude, in your behaviors, without expecting anything. And again, the touch we touch upon here of from moving from expectations to acceptance. Let me give you another perspective. So I think almost six or seven I've covered. Can we move from criticism to appreciation? That's another thing which I wanted to cover here, that in this year, 2025, 10 days have already passed. Ask yourself, how many times have I criticized people now in these last 10 days? Can I move from criticism to appreciation? And when I say appreciation, I don't mean to say ऊपर से झूठी वाह वाह karna. No, I mean to say genuine appreciation from within. And in one of our workshops, which we do on positivity, if we get a chance sometime to do with you all, we'll do it. Let's see what future holds for us. In that workshop on positivity, we have full one exercise, half an hour exercise on appreciation. There are basically some basic principles of appreciation which you should be following. I'll tell you those principles if you all want to write it down. First is you have to be genuine and sincere. The appreciation has to come from within. It has to be in my attitude, as I was telling you. The attitude has to change. Second is I have to be very specific in the appreciation sentence. Whatever I'm doing, it has to be specific for the task which the person has done. Third thing is identify the human quality behind that appreciation. So, for example, someone has done a good job. You tell them, oh, wow, excellent, very well done. That is not a specific thing. Tell them for what they have done, be specific, and identify the human quality, which means tell them, oh, you did this so and so work with lot of commitment, lot of dedication, and lot of determination. That adds a lot of क्या बोलते हैं icing on the cake. And Sone Pe Suhaga, it adds a lot of meaning to your appreciation. And most important is beware of spoilers. Don't use spoilers because people appreciate, they say good things, genuinely they do specific things. They tell specific and also they identify human qualities, but they complete it with a spoiler. And I'm sure you know what spoilers, I don't need to tell you, but a simple spoiler would be, oh, had you done this daily, that is a spoiler because you're giving a feedback to the person that time. So don't give feedback that time. Appreciation is appreciation. So don't, because feedback is also in one way a subtle criticism. So remember, don't do that. So ask yourself, can I, in this year of 2025, move from being critical to being appreciative for others? And another perspective change which I want you all to take away today is from rubbish to renewal. So, can I take care of my waste? See, because in the outside world, people are very bothered because climate change is happening in the physical world outside. So people are doing a lot of people are moving on to renewable energy. You all know that. So everything is becoming solar now. People are moving from fossil fuels, that is petrol and gasoline. They are moving on to electronic vehicles and electric vehicles and so on. So all of them are trying to renew energy and use it, conserve it, conserving energy, right? So same thing, I am also an energy here, right? The soul energy. And I'm really, I mean, I'm wasting my energy going into some negativity of others, looking into what is happening in others' lives, not able to take care of what is happening in my inner life. So can I start conserving my energy? That is called conservation, which people say energy conservation outside, which we also do at homes. We say, "Arey, pankha koi baitha nahi hai. Let's switch off the light. Let's switch off the so on and so forth. You all know. So can I conserve my this energy inside, whereby can I just make sure whatever thoughts I'm creating are not negative now, because nowadays we don't create negative, but we create very waste thoughts about just anyone and everyone on the street. That why is this person behaving like that? To give you a simple example, I'll share this story with you and then I'll end because my time is up and I have to go into the meditation mode with you all as well. So I was sitting in the flight and there was a youngster, an adolescent was sitting next to me. Not adolescent, maybe he was 19, 20. So he was just a young adult. And he was, nowadays, everyone is with their hands free. So he was having those earpods in his AirPods or earpods. And he was not able to listen to what I was telling him. But what he was doing is he was constantly doing tick, 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 tick with his pen. And he was not aware that he's doing this tick, 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 tick. But I was sitting next to him and I was getting disturbed by that noise. And imagine when you're in a flight, first of all, there's so much of background noise outside of the engine, machine, and all that. And on top of that, I had this noisy neighbor who was doing like that, because he was listening to his music, but he was doing it like that. So it was 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I was getting irritated by his this act because this was really noisy for me. His tick, 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 it was just coming to my ears. And he was quite tall like me as well. So then I thought, now, Manoj, why am I getting irritated? I need to do something. I need to stop my commentary inside that why have I got such a noisy neighbor? 2 ghante ki flight Pune to Delhi. So 2 ghante this guy will be like that. So then I said, full stop to my racing mind. I said, stop it. Why is my mind disturbed? The source, the trigger is this tick, tick, tick. Let me just take care of this. And how do I take care of this? I said I should create beautiful, positive thoughts. It's not happening that time. You can't create positive thoughts that time because you're already disturbed. So I thought, let me do one thing. As I said, I started the talk with from going on to problem oriented to solution oriented. So I was just constantly thinking about the problem and I was getting more and more irritated. So I asked my mind that apply a full stop. And I asked, what do you want to do? You want a solution for this? What is the solution? Can you ask that person to stop doing that? And it's very simple. Yes, I can ask that person. So I just touched him on his shoulder because there was no point speaking. He was not able to hear what I'm saying. So I told him this and he immediately put his pods off and he told, okay, yeah. So I said, can you please stop doing this tick, 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 tick of the pen? It's really very annoying. I mean, it's noisy. He said, oh, I'm so sorry. And then he immediately stopped. And then I realized it was just one thought away. It was just trying to tell him that please stop doing it. And how much energy did that take? Or how much time did that take? Just maybe 15, 20 seconds. And he immediately stopped. And my racing mind also stopped, right? So sometimes in life, I think one of the people have mentioned it here, says it's just one thought away. And see, try to identify your triggers. What are the triggers? What are the stimuli which make me which make my stable mind unstable? And we have these we call them in English as the remote control buttons. The buttons of my remote control are somewhere outside. And see what are those triggers from outside which press my buttons. It's a very common English saying that you're pressing my these buttons, which means you know where it hurts the most. So try to identify those trigger points, try to identify those stimuli, and try to work on that. And that will help you in really changing your perspective. So I think I've given you quite a few thoughts to ponder upon. So let us just revise that Can we shift? So I'll go from whatever we spoke in the last and we'll go up to the first in the end. So I started with, can we move from being problem oriented to more solution oriented? Can we move from attachment to love and love? Someone said it is unconditional love. Fantastic. Can we move from rubbish to renewal, whereby I can start working on my thoughts, renew my thoughts about people? Can we move from jealousy to good wishes? Can we move from being critical to being appreciative, genuinely appreciative? I gave you the three, four basic principles of appreciation. Can we move from destruction to construction, which I didn't mention, but this is all going from destruction to construction one way? Can we move from chaos and crisis to being calm? Moving from expectations to acceptance. You all do the count. How many are there? 8 to 10. And lastly, I think the summary, the essence of the entire talk is, can I really tease out all the layers of my role consciousness and move from role consciousness to soul consciousness? Can I do that? So ask yourself, are you ready to do that? Are you able to change your perspective in life? So, as always in our talks at Brahma Kumaris, I think I've given you a few pointers. Thank you for mentioning that. One of the brothers has mentioned that it's a good pointer. So work on these pointers. And as I said, you can forget all this now. And let us just now go back into the essence and try to practice this soul consciousness, because that's more important. The topic of today, life in a new perspective, if you Google it, you will get so many talks by so many different people on YouTube. But I think there's a limit to which you can just keep listening to. So now I would want you all to really take an experience from today's talk here. And that experience will help you in life, that whenever you're with a difficult situation, with a difficult person outside, with a difficult situation challenging in life, which has started making your mind unstable, apply that immediately. Like a tortoise, we say a tortoise, it tries to retract all its arms and goes within. So same thing, can I move from expanse to essence? Can I immediately that time go back into this inner core of my stability core? My inner being is very stable. I just have to take care of that stability, and I need to make sure that it remains stable when it is supposed to be the most stable. Because when I'm disturbed from inside, that's the most important time when I need to bring attention to that and try to make it stable immediately at that point of time. And if I'm able to do that in that very moment, then I'm successful. Otherwise, it can be a big task for me. So I would want you all to experience this. And it's a very simple act which we'll be doing. Again, I don't want you all to on your video cameras. It's okay if you're off. It's only thing is, make sure that you're not sleeping and lying down, because we'll be doing a little bit of meditation now. And for that, it is important that you all sit straight, upright. I'll give you a few thoughts, and you just tell me, Pitabasa brother, that I'll be sharing the sound of the meditation music. And sometimes what happens is, when we have quite a few participants, the voice cuts off. So you let me know if my voice is cutting off, and then I'll just stop sharing the sound. I'll just on the music. So let me know if I'm cutting. I'm not. Proceed without the music. Then you let me begin, and then you can interrupt me and tell me that I'm cutting. Fine, right? Music is good without. So let's, for the next only say around 5 to 8 minutes of your life, I need now. You need to be more relaxed, stable, and totally surrender to what I'm telling. Someone has written so many things in this. Let me just not go there. Let me try to come to the essence. I'll read that later. So all of you take a few deep breaths in and out, and relax your body. Relax. Take a few deep breaths in and out, and relax your body. Relax. Still be wandering very gently in your mind. Right? Feeling.
Om Shanti, brother. Voice is very low.
So I knew that. So I'll just stop sharing the sound. Very gently tell your mind, my dear friend, for the next few minutes, let me fully concentrate here. And you'll be amazed to see that your mind listens to you. Because your mind is your best friend forever. So now, in this relaxed and focused state of mind, create this beautiful thought. I am a peaceful being. My original nature is of peace and calmness. And see how you're feeling. Experience the peace within. What a beautiful feeling it is. I am peace. Peace and only peace. Nothing but peace is my true nature. And as you do so, feeling very, very light, as if you've become weightless and bodiless. And you're literally in the flying stage, away from all the burdens of the routine day. I am a peaceful being. Having experienced the stillness and peacefulness within, let's now move on to the second step in meditation. Just as the energy, the soul energy, is naturally so peaceful, so is the Supreme Soul, Param Atma, God, Ishwar, Allah, whatever name you want to allude it to. That is also a soul and energy which is supreme, which means it's the source of all the virtues and powers which I have. It is the ocean of all the virtues and powers. For the next few minutes, try to visualize that Supreme Soul on the top of your head as an energy. Visualize from this Supreme energy the rays of peace entering into your system. and making you feel more and more peaceful. So what a beautiful feeling it is. I, the peaceful being, connected to the ocean of peace. You can feel the depth of the experience of peacefulness which you're feeling now. You're really fully submerged in this beautiful experience of peace and bliss. You take the last step now in meditation, asking yourself, can I be a peace messenger for people around? And the answer is, of course, yes. So I, the peaceful being, connected to the ocean of peace, now radiate peace, environment, surrounding, and sending these vibrations of peace to all those souls in the world who are suffering and are in pain. Visualize the souls in the world who are undergoing a lot of stress and are in pain and suffering. Whatever the reason may be, climate change, floods, fire, war, financial upheavals, etc., souls are suffering and are in pain. So, can I be the peace messenger for them? Answer is, of course, yes. So, I radiate this energy of peace which I have taken from the Supreme Being, and I am the instrument to pass on this beautiful energy of peace to them as well. I don't have to do anything. I just have to remain stable in this consciousness of being a peaceful being and connected to the ocean of peace. Then I automatically radiate this into the surroundings. So, to conclude the meditation, the last word to summarize, I am a peaceful being connected to the ocean of peace and radiating the vibrations of peace to everyone around. And as we finish the meditation, you can open your eyes without being disturbed. As you look around, you still are feeling that sense of peacefulness within. And as you look around, see in the watch, it's almost 10, 12 minutes have passed. You had been meditating and you were mindful, fully in the present moment, and see how empowered you feel. And this empowerment will definitely be there for the next few hours. You have to keep recharging yourself again and again. Shanti, so thank you so much, all of you, for your interactions. Thank you. And over to Swapna.
Thank you so much, brother, for this session and the wonderful experience that you have shared. Everyone must have the similar kind of experience, like how our mind react or keep on thinking on different situations. So these sessions definitely help us to look our life in a different perspective. Thank you so much, brother, for this wonderful session and this step by step meditation. So I would request all our participants, those who are yet to learn Raj Yoga meditation, I would request them, it's a godly invitation for all, that you can learn the basic 7 days Raj Yoga meditation course free of cost in your nearby meditation center. We'll post the center locator in the chat box. So now we'll start our question and answer session. So 2 minutes of reflection. I request all participants to put your questions in chat box, or you may raise your hand and ask questions to our brother. Anyone having questions? Any questions? We'll unmute you, so please raise your hand.
Asmita wants to ask something. We can unmute her. So I've asked you to unmute.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Hello, Om Shanti. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, first of all, for the wonderful session. I just wanted to understand how to gracefully handle criticism from the other person. Someone criticizes you for not of being your fault. So how can we gracefully handle it without getting into the negative emotion of that for that person?
So, question, a very practical question. Thank you for your question. So, yes, it won't be possible by just one meditative session. It's a journey. You've just begun your journey. You have started moving into a direction of trying to stabilize your mind. So, it's a journey. Like, I can give you an example. You're a mother yourself, or you're a wife yourself, and you work in the kitchen. On day one, when you try to make a roti, a chapati, it doesn't really come out round as well. But over a period of time, practice, practice, and practice. The more you start practicing, then making a round roti becomes a second nature. It's not so difficult then. So same thing applies here, that the first day now, for example, if you go to your office on Monday and someone really blasts you for something, you still may be disturbed and you still may feel, oh, how to handle this. But don't worry, now that you know that that person is just the trigger or the stimulus. Let me just tell you also here that whoever that person, he or she, your boss, for example, has said something, that person has said only once, right? But I take that statement of his and put it in my brain. And again, I ponder on that and I keep giving this commentary to myself. Oh, I have done this, I have done this. It's okay. Something has happened, some mistake I have done, or maybe I have not done, but he has said to me, he's criticized me. So he has only done it once. But I have a regular commentary inside. I am doing more and more damage to myself by just constantly pondering on that. So the technique which we use here is called SOS. SOS actually is a medical jargon word. SOS means we say whenever needed. So, as doctors, we prescribe paracetamol, which is a painkiller. Whenever there is pain, SOS, give it to the patient. So, SOS in the spiritual term means SOS. S stands for stop. Tell your racing mind, which has been disturbed by whatever has happened, apply a full stop. As I told you, I gave you that example of tick tick. So, tell your mind full stop. It's an emphatic full stop. And along with full stop, tell your mind to stand back, which means see yourself as away from the situation. And that comes the next O. We call it observe it as a detached observer. And that you can only do by first applying a full stop to your racing mind. So once you apply a full stop, you tell your mind, please full stop. Don't think so much about this. Your mind will listen to you. And then observe that same situation, whatever happened, as a detached observer, as if you are not in that situation, you are a second person or you're a third person outside that situation. And then the last S is steer, which means that is the S of SOS. Steer means to change the direction, which means convert that whatever negative thing into a positive and ask yourself, can I apply something from my attitude and perspective? Can I create some positive statement for this negative which has happened? Of course, there will definitely be a positive thing for that as well. And so apply that. And that can only happen once you're able to detach yourself from that situation. And that detachment of detached observer will only happen once you're able to put a full stop. So it's a process. So once you start doing that, it will help you. And again, this SOS approach is for your initial days, for your basic preliminary days, I must say. Once you become a regular meditator, you don't need to follow these steps, because then this natural journey, what we call here at Brahma Kumari, is a very simple concept of check and change. I sit down with myself, say every 1 or 2 hours, something has happened in the last 2 hours. Check what was the thing which has happened and which has disturbed me, and change it immediately. And how can I change? It's just one thought away. I tell my racing mind, it's okay, it's happened. Let me put a full stop, move on, give it a positive turn to that, and keep doing that very often. It's we call check and change. So it's a process. It needs a lot of practice, but it's not impossible. As we say that nothing is impossible, I am possible. In that word impossible, it's mentioned. So it will definitely happen, right? It's a process you have to follow. And you have to be persistent and consistent and regular with that. You can't give up. Don't give up on yourself. Because people say, oh, मुझसे नहीं होता है, meditation में बैठते हैं. So what happens? All these negative thoughts come. It will happen. The moment you start, first all that rubbish will come out. When you start making your conscious layer of mind silent, from the subconscious, all this negative will come out onto your conscious mind. Let it come out. Because only when it comes out, that your healing will take place. All that kachra, the waste, the rubbish will come out. And then, as we said, from rubbish to renewal. It's only then you can be renewed. Right? So don't worry. It's a journey which you have started. And the more and you start practicing, it will eventually happen. And then you can accept gracefully the criticism. That was your question, right? Okay. I think
Thank you so much. Another,
there was someone, Jimmy, or
anyone else is having a brother? Yeah, yeah.
don't know. That person is no more seen
I would
here.
request to,
Hello.
Yeah,
Om
Jan.
Shanti Bhai ji.
yeah, brother.
Uh, I have a question like this racing mind, which sometimes you have a thought and it keeps going in your mind. So and you are not able to come out of it. You do your best, like you listen music or you do something. So even then, that the race which is in mind, it keeps on going. So how to calm that, like how to come out of that?
Yeah, so one thing which your vocabulary needs to change, you said that something is coming from outside. It's not coming from outside. I am actually creating it. So I need to really check that whatever racing mind is doing, the fast process of the fast nature of the mind which has happened, it's basically I, the mind, is doing that. And when I say I, the soul, my thinking faculty is the mind. So my mind has to be taken care of. I also give this example that when I say MIND, so MIND is a acronym, mind, obviously it is, but I like to say my inner noisy devil. Correct? My inner noisy devil. So now if I keep telling this again and again to my mind, अरे तुम तो डेविल हो, और डेविल भी नहीं, नॉइजी डेविल, तो शैतान जो बहुत जोर जोर से नॉइज भी करता है, तो हाउ विल आई फील, व्हाट एनर्जी विल आई गेट? Not a very good energy. So instead I have to convert my inner noisy devil into something which is called my inner noble doctor. Now you look at this word, my inner noble doctor. What energy does it give you? First of all, your mind is your doctor, and also it's a very noble doctor. So if I tell my mind that it's okay, it's happened, stop racing, because again, the same process which I told you, the SOS approach, you have to apply a full stop and stand back. Always observe as a detached observer. And third is steer. You have to change the direction. So again, so my dear friends and my dear Jamie bhai, it doesn't happen in a day. It's a process. It's a journey. And you have to keep doing it. And there are so many Rajyogi practitioners we have in our organization who have had many, many big things in life to happen. So many things have happened in their life. But they have started their journey, and through this regular practice. And let me tell you, at Brahma Kumaris, we have these spiritual disciplines. We begin our day with what is called the Amrit Vela meditation in the morning. That's the first important part of the day where we connect our minds with the Supreme Being. And really, it helps us to charge for the entire day. And then in between, as I told you, we have something called traffic control, which is we practice in every 1 hour, 59 minutes, we are doing our job, whatever we are doing, and 1 minute we practice silence. Then in between, we have those 3 minutes sound music going on, which gives us a chance to sort of go back inside and try to control the traffic of mind, which you already mentioned that my mind is racing. And then again, as we end the day, we close the day, we try to practice digital detox. 1 or 2 hours before you go to sleep, please make sure you're off all your devices. Screen time is zero. You're not looking at all your devices because those are the devices which make you feel more and more disturbed all the time. We feel that, yes, we are just consuming some information, but no, that is information overload on the brain. And your mind is so fully saturated with already your negative thoughts which you have, and this is adding on to that. So 1 or 2 hours before we go to bed, we switch off all your digital devices and try to read something which is elevated, some spiritual material, whatever you want. What we do is we read the Murli, what we have in the morning class. And before you go to bed, just 10 minutes or so, sit with yourself. And what we call is try to do an account check as we do. Some people have the habit of writing books or journaling, right? If you have the habit, write down your day, what has happened. Or if not, just write it down here, sit with yourself, analyze your day, self analysis that what went wrong, submit it or surrender to God as we submit our reports in the organization to our bosses. So our supreme boss is God. Submit it, surrender that, oh, whatever has happened, sorry for that. I'll make sure that tomorrow from tomorrow onwards, this doesn't happen. And sleep with a very clean and clear mind. All this thing has to be offloaded. And once I'm able to do this on a regular basis, you'll see that your life will start changing. Right? So Kirti is saying, yes, I do that. So good. So if you all keep doing that, then this complaint of the racing mind also stops. So it's just a process. You have to keep doing it. Okay, I think it's 5:21.
Thank you so much, brother. Yes, now we'll end this question and answer sessions. If anyone is having any further query, please write to us at bbsritwing@gmail.com. So now it's time, to give vote of thanks. So I will request Brother Pitabas to give vote of thanks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sister. Om Shanti. Good evening, everyone. We have a nice sessions. We talked about life in a new perspective. The Dr. Matnani gave about 11 perspective what we need to be aware, and then see how we can make them in our day-to-day life. At the outset, I would thank the Almighty Authority, the Supreme Father, the Shiv Baba, who has been giving this opportunity to deliberate on the webinar platform. I would like to thank our ITwing leaders, the chairperson of ITwing, Raj Yogini Brahma Kumari Asa Didiji, ITwing National Coordinator, Raj Yogini Brahma Kumari Madhu Didiji, ITwing Coordinator at Headquarters, Rajyogi Brahma Kumari Yashpant Bhaiji. All the ITwing leadership, they are guiding us, helping us, and supporting at every moment. I like to thank our regional leaders here, Raj Yogini Brahma Kumari Lina Didiji, the head of Bhubaneswar Subzone, and the Raj Yogini Brahma Kumari Golab Didiji, center in charge, Patia Bhubaneswar, who have been also supporting us in this organizing this program. And I like to thank our esteemed speaker, Brother Dr. Manoj Matnani ji, who has given time from his busy schedule, and he left the topic to us to decide, and we picked up the topic life in a new perspective, considering the new year and also the current stage we are in. So, and he has given a lot of his view, from the personal experience, and then I have made note of few of these points, like expectation to acceptance, your greed to contented, attachment to unconditional love, criticism to appreciations. It's very interesting, that happens to the most of the time. Then the rubbish to renewal, destruction to constructions, chaos to camp, and the most importantly, the role conscious to soul conscious. So I'm sure there are a few points I might have missed out, but it will be very, very interesting to take this into practice in our life. And as suggested by Sapnava, and also people who have not taken the courses are requested to take the sessions. Thank you, brother, for this wonderful sessions, and this will go long way in our day-to-day life. And next, I would like to thank the hosting team, Swapna Bhen, and all the organizing members who have been supporting from the behind the scenes. There are team who are supporting this webinars, who are like setting up the Zoom meetings, setting up the YouTube links, and all stuffs. A lot of brothers and sisters are supporting. Thank all of them. The most importantly, I'd like to thank all of you, the participants, who have taken time from your busy schedules and participated in this program, interacted and shared your views. And I'm sure this will go a long way in our the life. Thank you again, and thanks.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Now, thank you so much, brother. Thanks. And now we'll remember the Almighty, and then we'll end the session. Thank you, everyone.
खुद बदल के अब हमें ये जग बदलना है, व्यर्थ की झमेलों से अब उभरना है। एक पल स्वयं को जाग तू जरा, समय भी तुझसे है क्या कह रहा।